sind, I guess there are now enough of us in here, that we can vote. Who does not German? Who does not understand English? Does anybody have objections if the presentation will be held in English with German slides for assistance? Okay, I see no objections. Then we can start in about 30 seconds. So, my friends, if you see me on top here, the picture 2 years ago, and you see me today, you see a stunning difference. This guy looks healthy, slim, and happy. This guy is fat and just came out of hospital. The difference between this guy and that guy is approximately 3 years of playing around with mobile computing. And one of the most annoying things of mobile computing is keeping those little boxes safe. And in the next few minutes, I will introduce you to various aspects of mobile computing security. This will be done at a higher level, so don't expect any too detailed information. Instead, expect a broad overview of what risks are faced by mobile computing systems. And I have essentially grouped up my presentation into 4 parts. First of all, the physical attacks, then malware, then exploits, and finally, social engineering and scams. Looking at me, who I am. Okay, the sigint organizers, they didn't catch a monkey and shaved him and put him on the stage. So, I mean, I've been in the mobile business since 2004, working for the Tamogamon Limited. We mainly do software for mobile computers, but we also run websites about handhelds. And with that out of the way, the first question is, why should I attack this device and not this device? The first reason for that is in the head of the users, not in your heads, but in the head of the average user. With the average user, he thinks that the phone is safe. And he thinks that because the phone is always close to the body, and so he feels the phone to be much more a part of his body than he would feel or perceive a computer or a netbook to be a part of his body. And furthermore, users of mobile phones consider themselves relatively safe. This has got one reason. There have not been any bad outbreaks so far. If you look at the average user, he at least knows one person who lost data due to a virus. In mobile computing, this situation doesn't exist. Maybe 10,000 individuals total were harmed by viruses so far. So the people do not see mobile systems as much as an attack target as they consider a desktop workstation. And furthermore, users are unwilling to accept the consequences which you have when you install an antivirus software. Because, you know, with these small phones, the battery life is directly dependent on the amount of computation. If you double the amount of computation, the battery lifetime significantly reduces. And we all know scanning for viruses is hard work for the processor, especially on a 500 megahertz ARM CPU. And so if you've got an antivirus system, well, you get the idea. The next thing is that users are stupid. The average person who buys a cell phone buys the cell phone because it's got a beautiful color. More on that later in the Symbian workshop. And this user, obviously, prefers dancing pigs to security. That's by Ed Felten, not by me, so blame him, not me. And as an example for this issue, I'm going to take the Kabir virus. If you wanted to get your phone infected by the Kabir virus, you had to accept 3 warning prompts. Not 1, not 2, 3. The phone warned you 3 times. This application is potentially harmful. Do you really want it? But the guy saw free Playboy sex, the girl saw free high heel shoes, and clicked yes, 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 because I want that. And as we said, the dancing pigs are more important than the security. This is furthermore aided because mobile computers are soft targets. This has got already the reason which we mentioned before, that the systems are too weak to run antivirus software. But there is also another problem. And this is that the average mobile application programmer has no idea of security. He is unaware of security. The average mobile journalist has got no idea of security and doesn't care about security. If you ask them what's a buffer overflow, the average mobile programmer tells you, I've got no idea. And this has led to some spectacularly stupid attacks, like, for example, the HTC Bluetooth FTP attack, which we're going to talk about later more, or the All About Symbian hack, which was a large mobile computing website which was hacked by a really, really stupid SQL injection or something like that. So it was pretty embarrassing, and it would have never happened to a large non-mobile site. And there is one more thing which makes it dangerous. Open operating systems like Symbian, Windows Mobile, Android are getting more and more popular, while the traditional dumb phones are getting less and less popular. And on most smartphone operating systems, an application can do everything once it is installed. And as we have less dumb phone and more smartphone, it becomes easier to propagate because the market share is higher. I guess some of you will now throw objects, but the reason why Linux is safer, or why the Mac is safer than the Windows box, which I'm currently using, is not so much the architecture. Yes, I know the architecture is better, but it's also the possibility of propagation. Why should I attack a small target, 10% of the computer consumers, if I can go for 80% of the people? And that's exactly the thing which we will see. The more smartphones we get, the more dangerous and the more funny it will become. So, I see some of you taking notes and thinking, why don't carriers do something about it? Carriers, operators, in German Netzbetreiber. Well, if you've got a CDMA or a GSM connection, then you can protect that. You put a firewall on the end of the operator, and anything which is malware doesn't get through to the device via GSM or via CDMA. But unfortunately, today's mobile phones, I'm going to show this one, but I've also got some other examples we'll show later on, have got 2 more transmitters. They've got Bluetooth and they've got Wi-Fi. And while customers are usually willing to accept limitations to the Bluetooth transmitter, the moment you touch Wi-Fi, the shit hits the fan. The press kicks you, the users go on a rebellion, they return the phone. The moment you touch their Wi-Fi, it gets dangerous. And this means even if you protect your Bluetooth and you protect the GSM and CDMA connections, the Wi-Fi door always remains wide open for attacks. So the carriers can't do it. We've got that done, so now we see the threat situation. Does anybody have any questions regarding the state of the art, the thing that's covered so far? Good, no questions. Then we will start with, if I can find the mouse, with the first bit of attacks, which are physical attacks. Who of you recognizes the man on this picture? Don't read it. Who of you can recognizes them? These people were the so-called Thuggy clan of ancient colonial India. And in today's English, a thug is a person who's a criminal individual. You must have heard the word. And these boys in colonial India walked up to the tax collectors of the British government, and they basically walked up to them, took a big stick, and they were like, "Give me your money." And that's the kind of threat which is very, very, very common in the mobile industry. Phones are being stolen. In Austria, it's a rampant problem. In Western Europe, it's a rampant problem. Phones are being stolen not only for the personal use, because the girl or boyfriend needs a new phone, but they are also sold to be resold on the gray market. In Austria, there are stores. If you go there, if you don't have a good reputation to lose, you can go there. You can give them 250 bucks, and you can tell them, I want this phone, and they will steal it for you. It's a rampant problem, and it's even more rampant for one simple reason, because carriers love theft. Because let's now assume that I've got, who wants to be my example? I need an example. Come on, come to the stage, somebody. Okay, here's my example. Come to the stage, sir. Let's now assume that this friendly example guy owns this phone. And now I'm passing him by, and I'm nicking his phone. All of his data, the software he has bought, everything is dependent on this phone. What will he do? He will buy another phone of the same type. And where will he buy it? He will buy it at his carrier. And the carrier will not charge him the regular contract rate. He will charge him OTC rates. You're really done, thank you. So, now it's got another little quiz for you. This phone, I paid 99 bucks on contract. How much will my carrier charge me if I buy it OTC? Wrong. Next one. Wrong. Next one. I'm going to throw in one free bottle of Coke Mate to the one who guesses the number approximately. Come on. How much? Wrong. I'm not giving any hints. How much? Wrong. I'm going to stop it here. 1,029 bucks. And this device in retail costs 550 bucks. This means that the carrier makes a profit of 600 to 700 euros the moment my phone is stolen. This means that carriers love theft. And in fact, if you are going out with a carrier CEO and you have been drinking the 5th bottle of Tokai, then he starts to talk. And then you hear them saying like things, hey Tam, you're a cool critter, we love you all, you know, you're our best journalist. And now we're going to tell you a little story. You know, not the story, but the swinger club. Now we're going to tell you a different story. We're going to tell you something. We love people who steal our phones. We are not the police. As long as they pay their monthly rates, the thief is our customer, and we will protect him from the police as long as he pays our rates. GSM black rates, no way. The next thing is the manufacturer. Our Mr. Example purchases another phone. In the statistics of the manufacturer, this shows up as 2 phones sold. So this means our individual caused the manufacturer 2 phones and thereby increased his sell-through and also increased the market share, because the market share is measured by sold units. And if I buy 50 units, then I count as much as 50 people who buy 1 phone each. The thing is this. The GSM system allows the so-called EIR. It allows the blacklisting of stolen phones via their email number, which is unique. But unfortunately, it works very well. It works well in England. But unfortunately, governments are unwilling to enforce this for one reason. No government in the Western world wants to admit we have a petty crime problem. Because the moment you admit that you have a petty crime problem, you've got riots. The moment that happens, the people get pissed, the people get angry. You just look at what they're doing in Austria with the crime statistics. So it works, and it works well in the UK, because in the UK it was so rampant that they had to do something. But don't expect government to do anything for you in this situation. And there is one more type of physical attack, which is also very, very important. And this is an attack which intends to steal the user's data. If you want the data the user has on his phone, You just walk up and steal it. Or, even more devious, you just steal the memory card. You just open the case and you press the memory card eject button and you've got the card. And the data on the card is unprotected in 99.5% of the cases. So, we've got that. Time to give away another bottle of Club Mate. Why did I choose this picture and what does it show? 5 guesses. Go. What? Wrong. Why? Wrong. Wrong. What? That's the right way. And what place was it? Wrong. I guess we have the 5 things. This, you will hear it in a moment. We already said there is no antivirus protection on the mobile phone. And there always is a can-do effect. Today, every dork can program a stupid little virus for Windows. Come on, hands up. Who of you thinks he can write a malware for Windows? So we've got quite a few hands in there. I expected to see less, actually. Who of you expects to be able to write a malware for a mobile operating system? 2 of us, okay. And so, of course, for these 2 of us, there is a can-do effect. If you do it, you can go, I made it. I programmed the mobile virus. I'm great. And basically, this was a slide which I've been having in there for some time. We're going to jump over it and go to the history of mobile viruses. The first virus ever in the mobile market was a little piece of crap called Liberty Crack. And Liberty Crack attacked the old classic Palm OS handsets, not the new Pre, Pixie, Pixie Plus, Pre Plus, C4 and how they are called, but only the old Palm OS Trio and so on. And this program was basically pretty peaceful because it just fucked up all the programs on the phone. So you docked, resynchronized, and the virus was gone. And it was developed as a test for a program called Clean and Sweep for Palm, which was intended to optimize your Palm's file system and so on. And to optimize, you of course need to fuck up first. And so there was a program created to fixate the file system. And unfortunately, you all know how it is if you're a software tester. Somebody had somebody else who he didn't like, or so on. And the testers gave the program away. And it slowly but surely started to spread. And that was the first outbreak. There was next to no practical damage. Maybe 500 or 1,000 users were harmed. But the media frenzy was enormous. You know, in Austria, if somebody falls on his head and is a bit dizzy, the Kronenzeitung or the Bild-Zeitung, they come and they photograph it. Somebody has almost died, and the reason is the aliens. And because of all the media attention, one guy thought, I can do it better. And he created Fake. Fake was the first virus which was able to replicate itself. This means when you installed it onto your Palm, it infected all the other applications and thereby was able to spread. As the Palm OS is essentially dead, I'm not going to go into the way this infection was achieved anymore. Or is anybody of you especially interested in this? Okay, no Palm OS hand in there anymore. And then there also was MTX. You want to have it explained? What do you have? A T3, isn't it? Come up to the stage, mate. Come up to the stage, mate. That's an old Palm guy. That's great to see you here. Don't say that you're reading my blog. No. Okay, then. If you want, you can stay on stage as long as you want. Sit down and enjoy the stage view. Okay. And there was one final virus, which was called MTX2A. And it would basically infect his laptop. And when he syncs his Palm, then on his Palm, it displays a little warning. You are a lunatic. Your Palm has been fucked up. And basically that was that. You see, no really dangerous viruses. And then there came this device. You can sit down or you can go back. It's your choice. Thanks to the daring guy to show off his palm. And then came this device. And this device is the device which made viruses on the mobile dangerous. This device made the shit hit the fan for a variety of reasons. First of all, it had Symbian OS, which back then was a fully open operating system. Next, it had Bluetooth, it had MMS, it was capable to do TCP/IP, and it was hot. Because this device was released in a time when Sony Ericsson was pummeling Nokia like crazy with the T86i, you know, the business phone, which when you were sitting in first class, you had a T86i and you played solitaire. And you felt so cool because all the other people didn't get one of those phones because they were so filthy expensive. And then there came along this phone. This phone had a huge screen, a beautiful camera for the time then, and it was cheap, and the people bought it like crazy. From teenager to businessman, everybody wanted this phone. And this phone and its successors became so popular, they governed 50% of the mobile market. And then came K-Bar. K-Bar was a pretty peaceful virus because it was a proof of concept, and it was a Bluetooth-only propagator. This meant it propagated only via the Bluetooth wireless link from one phone to the next phone by sending out the sys file. And as I already said, it was a proof of concept, and it didn't really do much damage. Okay, it increased the power consumption, because if you've got a Bluetooth transmitter running, it drains the power, and it was annoying. But there was no real damage done. And then came Mabir and ComVario. And Mabir and ComVario were evil because they were able to spread by MMS. And you know, MMS, they're obscenely expensive. One MMS, 99 cents. And now imagine we've got a little virus sending itself out to all 4,000 contacts who you have. 4,000 bucks. That hurt. And in fact, the thing which I showed you was an Olympic stadium. And in this Olympic stadium, there was a mass outbreak. And this mass outbreak, one guy went in there and had an infected phone. And by the end of the stadium game, I don't know what kind of game it was, I'm not into sports, there was a pandemonium. If you would have looked at it with a radio eye, you would have seen the infections crawling around, like you see them in the videos of the people who are peddling the anti-larvae bed coats. I don't know if you have it in Germany. The people who are selling those special bed covers where you can't get any little animals inside. I don't know if you know that. Well, forget it. But this, what? Crazy people. Yes, for example. But the situation became so bad that Nokia had to rename the platform. They renamed the platform from Series 60 to S60v3. S60v3 forced a complete binary break upon developers, and it enforced signing. This means an application had to be signed in order to run on the phone. If it was not signed, it could not run, and signing was done by a central institute. It was expensive. And as I already said, this phone, that's a popular example. That was not the one that was introduced on. That's a very popular phone using the software. And more on S60v3 is in the workshop, which starts in about half an hour across there in the 3rd floor. And then there were two more, I'm going to say, smaller things. First of all, there was FlexiSpy. FlexiSpy managed to get signed somehow. And FlexiSpy essentially is a total control software, which means that once it's installed on a target phone, I can simply go with my PC, log in, and see what's on the phone. But the reason why FlexiSpy isn't as dangerous as it sounds is one thing. Let's now assume that I want to know what the guy in the second row with the iPhone is doing all the time. Then I can't simply go to him and install FlexiSpy remotely. Instead, I need to touch his phone. And the moment I touch his phone, he's likely going to kill me, so I'm not trying that. You see the evil grin he has? So, you want to come to stage? Okay. You see, he would definitely kill me after the show. So, that's the reason why why FlexiSpy was not as dangerous as it sounds. And then there was one more very strange outbreak just a month ago, and it was the 3D anti-terrorist game. This was a free game, and if you installed it to your phone, it was a free game. And at night, when you slept, it called premium rate numbers. It sounds evil, but it sounds funny also. There is a story behind it, actually. Because it was spread, the phone, the game, 3D anti-terrorist, essentially is payware. And somebody downloaded it, cracked it, and uploaded it to Freeware Pocket PC. And Freeware Pocket PC, obviously, they don't check the software which gets uploaded, or they don't check it much, actually. And so it was uploaded, and the developer said, I don't know anything. And now the question which is qui bono? Who benefits? This is something I will answer afterwards when the camera is turned off. I've got a suspicion regarding that, but I'm not saying it openly. Next up, we've got scams. Don't worry, folks, we're almost done. You've already almost arrived this talk, just 35 minutes or so. I've got scams. And first of all, there are the scam ads in newspapers. They just hang up on the wall, they hang up an ad, call me under this number, I've got something to give away. I've got to give away a phone, I've got to give away a baby stroller, I've got to give away my wife, I've got to give away my husband, whatever. I've got something which I don't want anymore. And the trick is this. A 01XXX number, for example, is a number in Vienna. But a 0190 number is a premium rate number in Austria. And if I now move the dash ahead by 2 numbers and adjust the layout a bit, I can trick users into calling me and netting me a nice bit of money. The next devious thing is the call me back method. For this, I get myself a war dialer. Who of you, it's a war dial, it's a program which aggressively dials through a number range. And before the connection gets established, I stop the call. And then on the phone, you get the nice message with the red phone, you missed the call. And many users call back. And unfortunately, they call back to premium number. Yes, sir? That's basically, look, you must see it this way. For them, with a premium rate number provider who is complacent, the call minute costs them 1 cent in the worst case. So for them, if 5 users pick up the call of 100, it's no issue. They are not targeting us, who always have the phone here or here. They are targeting people who've got the phone here and who are working here. And if somebody has my mobile number and now wants to call me, then I can demonstrate the effect. Anybody here who knows one other in the room and who wants to go for a little demo? Oh, you two there. You two, are you willing to help with demonstration? Are you two willing to help with demonstration? Please, come on, you two. You two know each other? Okay. What? So, come on, I want to see a couple who is no bunch of cowards come to the stage. Come on. Okay. You basically put your phone on the table here. Answering your question, sir. It's your question I'm answering. You put your phone here. Your phone goes here. I'm staying here. Your phone goes here. It must go here. You go here. Where we put him, I think this is a beautiful place for him. Here he goes. And now you call his phone.
What's my motivation?
You just call him. Just call him. You stay here. And when the phone rings, you start walking. We hear the phone vibrating. Run. And just cancel the call now. You now cancel the call. Perfect. You see how long it took him to get to the phone? Is your question answered, sir? Then big thanks to our stage team. And then there is one more really, really evil trick with which they once caught me. They send out to a block of numbers an SMS which reads, "I don't want to disturb you, but you've just used up 10 euros. Enjoy." And then somebody like me gets pissed. And he calls them and he's like, "I'm gonna send my lawyer to you fucking assholes. I'm gonna sue your ass, blah, blah, blah." And on the other end, there is a guy who is waiting. And the longer I call, the longer I talk, the more money the guy earns. And then finally there is a premium rate SMS issue also, but this is only for Austria, so I'm going to let that be and move on to something else. I've got one final bottle of Club Mate to give away, and I really want to get rid of it. Why did I choose this picture? To talk about exploits. What? No, wrong way. Completely wrong way. This is the right way, but it doesn't earn the bottle just yet. You're very much in the right way. What? No, wrong way. He was right. He was very, very right. What? Correct. And what's the default password? Okay, come to the stage. You will get your bottle out there. I've got the bottle standing for you. I'll give it to him now if you guys don't mind. Come to the stage and hold the stage for a moment. Hey, Entschuldigung, wo ist der Getränkemensch? Da steht nicht, ich brauche die Flasche dringend. Die Mate brauche ich dringend. Schnell, schnell. Ich mache gerade Präsentation. Danke. Die wird verschenkt. So, is he still on the stage? Where is the guy? Come up. So, you guessed it. I congratulate you, you are great. I salute you, here's your bottle. You can stay on stage as long as you want, I don't care. He deserves it, by the way. Wait, I'm giving you the microphone, you deserve it. Come on. It's just 2 more minutes, you can stay on stage.
The default password of jailbroken iPhones was Alpine, and there was
This
a warm.
car is the
This
Renault.
car has a term
It's the
Alpine.
Renault Alpine, and that's that. And the thing is this. As we already said, programmers are unaware of anything. And this means there is no security workflow. And the lack of a security workflow means that there are potentially thousands and thousands of bugs in phones which you can exploit without much of an issue. Oh my, that was loud. I should have given in the bottle later on, that it doesn't disturb me so much. But you see, they are ungrateful as they come. The people, they are always ungrateful, you know? I'm giving him a bottle and then he disturbs me. Lovely person. Just joking, it's just a joke. Don't be angry, it's just a joke. And the first thing, I already promised it before, was a vulnerability which affected devices made by HTC. It was a Bluetooth vulnerability. And before we dive into that, we need to understand how the Microsoft Bluetooth stack works on Windows Mobile. At the base, there is the Microsoft Bluetooth stack. And manufacturers who want to support additional modules, they put on top an extra layer of code which implements the profile they want to implement. And HTC implemented a profile called Bluetooth FTP. And Bluetooth FTP is beautiful because it allows you to remotely access a directory of the phone via the wireless connection. So for example, let's assume that my wife would be sitting here. Imagine some random blonde with spectacles and medium-sized breast sitting here, holding another such phone and looking smart. And she now wants to send me some picture which I want to have. And then she just copies it to her Outbox folder on the phone, and I connect to her Bluetooth FTP service, and then I can traverse the folders in her Outbox like they were stored on my phone. And this exactly is it. A well-mannered client detects, oh, I'm on the top of the Outbox folder. I don't offer the user to go any further. But if we got a devious client, the devious client then sends another 2 dots. And because there is no rights checking, he can break out of the Outbox folder, and then he goes straight into the system. And that way he can access the Windows folder of the mobile device. And the moment you can access the Windows folder of the mobile device on Windows Mobile, the machine is down. The machine is yours. You can do with it what you want. And the only reason why this one didn't get really, really dangerous was because of the perimeter security of Bluetooth. Because in order to connect to the Bluetooth FTP, the 2 Bluetooth devices need to trust one another. And usually, users don't pair with devices which they don't know. And so because of that, the practical impact of this thing was rather low. And this cannot be said, unfortunately, of the iPhone SSH issues. The thing is this: jailbreaking your iPhone is fun. It allows you to tether your phone, it allows you to remove the SIM lock, and it allows you many, many other things to do. Funny things, you know what I'm talking about now. You know, like downloading porn, or downloading illegal games, or something like that. And the thing is this: because millions and millions of people want to jailbreak, jailbreaks are really, really simple. And every little idiot on the street can jailbreak his iPhone. And he also jailbreaks his iPhone. And now the problem is this: as Little Mr. Idiot jailbreaks his phone, he installs some packets. And these packets almost always include an SSH server. And this SSH server always has the same default password, which is Alpine. And there is one more benefit, because iPhones usually are sold only by one carrier. And so you can look at the subnet mask, and by looking at the subnet mask, you can say, oh, this subnet, it's owned by T-Mobile Austria. They sell many iPhones. I guess that there will be many iPhones there. Whereas this subnet there, it's owned by our governmental carrier, and they don't sell an iPhone. So I'm not going to go here, I'm going to go here. And attacking those iPhones follows the scheme F. You perform a port scan, you connect to the SSH server, you install your exploit, and then you do whatever you want. And with that, that's that. I thank you all for being a great audience. Please, an applause for all my victims. Come on, an applause for all my victims. I thank my victims for being great victims and for not killing me. And finally, I thank all the people who sent and shared their pictures. If anybody of you has further questions, raise your hand. I am done. Thank you very much for being a great audience.